It's a Tuesday morning. Welcome on the show. My name is Wally Scott. It's Plus Sports and Plus TV Africa. Before I start anything on the show today, let's start with Eid Mubarak to my Muslim faithfuls. Now, don't let's forget the reason for the season: sacrifice. I want to believe if most of us sacrifice a little bit just more than we are doing now, it will be a better country and a better world to live in. Just my opinion. Two women's basketball players have had a last-ditch bid to represent Nigeria at the Olympic Games, here thrown out by the Court of Application for Sports, CAS. Ogwumike and Elizabeth Williams both participated in Olympic qualifying for the United States before not making the American team for the Games here. Both have Nigerian passports, but players are not usually allowed to switch international allegiances after they turn 17. Both were named in a professional Nigerian squad for Tokyo 2020 before the results of their appeals. Ogwumike and Williams both played in the Women's National Basketball Association, WNBA, so would undoubtedly have improved Nigeria's squad. Coincidentally, Nigeria's first match at Tokyo 2020 is due to be against the US on July 27th. Host Japan and France are the other teams in their group. Sayo Oguntoye, good morning.
Good morning to you, Wally Scott.
Now, everybody around has a different, as usual, a different opinion from mine. I am supposed to be the one that has the radical approach to everything. Once again, I'm here this morning again with that radical approach. When they told these girls to come and play for Nigeria, they said no, or anymore, it must be US Dream Team or nothing. Now that obviously they are not making that dream team, the dream team is on their way to Tokyo, they can't go with them, they're now running back to Nigeria. Where the dustbin? Abi?
Yes, I also want to come from that angle too, knowing that Nigeria wasn't their first choice. United States Dream Team was their first choice. And they were not chosen, possibly because maybe they were not good enough to break into that United States squad. And having said that, I think they are good enough to be in the Nigerian team. But why the FIBA, that's the ruling body in basketball, has not been able to, give them how do I put it now? The license to represent Nigeria for this upcoming Olympics is still, it baffles me really, but I think it should be a lesson for every other sports person, be it football, be it basketball, any other sport. You should be able to represent where you are sure of playing. I think it's a lesson. It's a lesson.
Now, let me use this as a case study now. Bukayo Saka has been warned that, listen, these guys will use you and dump you. Tammy Abraham was warned. And in basketball, Nigerian scouts went abroad, told Nigerian boys there, you can't make the dream team. And the boys all came to Nigeria, and we are number one in Africa on the Tigers, and we just beat US a few days ago and beat Argentina. Yeah. I think these girls were called to, like Ogwumike, her sisters were called, and they called her too. She said no. Her sisters agreed. And those girls are now part of that team, full and full. Ogwumike, the senior eldest one, is the one that has problems now. She was called then, she refused to come.
Yes, I actually love the angle in which you are bringing this from now, because if you look at what happened to, example now, Bukayo Saka, if it was a Nigerian team that he missed the decisive penalty, I don't think that abusive speeches would have come up, or the racist chants would have come up. But because it's England, and England is England, so you should be expecting things like this from people who you are not originally associated with. And with the same case now with Ogwumike, I think she would just start licking her wounds, because her sisters, they actually 3 number her sisters were called and they obliged, but she actually refused. And it's going to it's really going to be very, very painful for her now, knowing that the Tokyo Olympics is just days around the corner, and her sisters will be participating for Nigeria. She would not be participating for either Nigeria or United States. Like I said, it's a lesson, and I hope future athletes, future stars who are having dual citizenship can be able to choose wisely the country they should represent.
This is my opinion. Honestly, I'll move to my next story now. Like I said, she was only trying to eat her cake and have it. It didn't work for her. You play qualifiers for them, you don't make the team, and you run back to Nigeria. Who does that? If everybody in Nigeria is pitying her and feels it's wrong, I think it's right. You don't eat your cake and have it. It's as simple as that. Now, the so-called bubble to control COVID-19 infections at the Olympic Athletes Village in Tokyo is already broken and poses a risk of spreading infections to the general populace. Games officials on Sunday reported the first COVID-19 case among competitors in the Athletes Village in Tokyo, where 11,000 athletes are expected to stay. Since July 2nd, Tokyo 2020 organizers have reported 58 positive cases among athletes, officials, and journalists. Insufficient testing at the border and the impossibility of controlling people's movements mean that the games could exacerbate the spread of the infections, Delta variants of the virus, he added.
In the same group, the rest of the, as I said, there are 3 positive cases. These athletes and then the team official were isolated straight after they were found as positive. And the rest of the group were requested to stay in their room, and then they have been able to follow the instruction. And today I can say that the number is 21. They were indeed requested to stay in their rooms. We, of course, provide meals and drinks to their rooms directly by Tokyo 2020 staff members. And the team is following the instruction. Before either the competitions or training sessions.
Sayo, that was a health expert, and the guy was really very honest. He says, as far as it's concerned, the bubble is broken. And that if there was supposed to be a bubble, they already have 58 cases, journalists, athletes, with the Delta variant. So if there's a bubble, if you have that much already, then the bubble is broken. So love it or leave it. So far, the bubble in Japan has failed.
Sports competitions.
It has an alarm for athletes. You know, they are expecting about 11,000 athletes coming into Tokyo, Japan 2020 Olympics. And let me say this also, the Olympics is the largest in terms of sporting activity, in terms of participants now, it is the largest. You are having 11,000 people coming all over the world into a city, into a location. So you should expect COVID-19 protocols to take place strictly. And now what they have in place now, the bubble has been broken. So let us see how they can be able to contain. If they cannot be able to contain the COVID-19, the COVID-19 protocols there, then they should be able to extend the event to maybe a further date. I think that should be the best. The primary thing is the safety of the fans, the safety of the athletes themselves, and the safety of the organizers also should be much more at stake.
International Olympic Committee IOC President Thomas Bach on Tuesday praised medical workers and volunteers for making the Tokyo Games possible amid the coronavirus pandemic and said the event will send a powerful message of peace and solidarity. The Games, postponed last year because of the novel coronavirus pandemic, begins on Friday, July 23rd, but will be without spectators after Japan's decision earlier this month to leave venues empty to minimize the risk of infections.
The founder of the IOC, Pierre de Coubertin, once said, and I quote, "The Olympic Games are a pilgrimage to the past and an act of faith in the future." End of quote. These timeless words take on a special meaning today on the eve of these Olympic Games. Because with the Olympic Games Tokyo 2020, we are committing such an act of faith in the future. Just like the Olympic Games Tokyo 1964 marked a new era for a peaceful and dynamic Japan, the Olympic Games Tokyo 2020 will give humanity faith in the future. athletes of the world are looking forward with anticipation to make their Olympic dream finally come true. These athletes share the experience of perseverance with the people of Japan. Now the stage is set for the athletes to shine and inspire the world. Their amazing achievements, their effort, excellence, emotions, joy and tears, this creates the magic of the Olympic Games.
We will protect the health and security of the Japanese public. At the same time, for the athletes and stakeholders, we would like them to participate with the sense of security and safety. We will have thorough in our countermeasures in ensuring safe and secure games. We are resolved in that. I need your cooperation, dear ladies and gentlemen. I solicit your cooperation. May I conclude by saying that against this difficulty, there were so many people who made efforts in delivering the games. I'd like to offer my appreciation and gratitude to all these people who made efforts to that end. Now, here, I declare the opening of the 138th IOC session.
Sayo, despite the fear of COVID-19, the Delta variant, and all said and done, the IOC president says the games will go on, and this COVID-19 will be contained, and they work harder. I don't know what miracle this man wants to perform, but we already have, the games haven't begun. We already have 58 cases, half of them Delta variants.
Absolutely. They just want to be positive, if you ask me. Prior to this period now, we have some sporting events taking place, like the Wimbledon. It came and it's ended. I barely heard of a COVID-19 incident. We also had the Copa America, also barely, COVID-19 incidents. Now the European Championship too, the Euro 2020. Which was played in 2021, except for the Ericsson slump. There was barely any COVID-19 incident. So all attention now is switching over now to the Olympics, and that is making them much more, careful, much more, trying to take everything carefully. So it's understandable why things are very, very dramatic at this moment, prior to the eve of the event. So I think, yes, they want to be positive. Yes, there are issues. There are COVID-19 red flags all around, the Delta issues also. But I think they can still be able to cope, because Japan, with so much technology, they can be able to, bring their manpower also into work and see how they can cope COVID-19, at least to the barest minimum.
Okay, now this is a part of of sports and of reporting that makes my day. Gaza weightlifter, his name is Mohammed Hamada, says he's aiming to rank among the top 10 when he makes history as the first Palestinian to compete in the sport at the 2020 Tokyo Olympics. This is the first Palestinian weightlifter to compete in the Olympics. Mohammed Hamada aims to rank among the top 10 at the Tokyo Olympics. Now, Hamada's coach says Palestinian athletes suffer from a lack of well-equipped clubs and proper training.
سنفعل كل المستحيل ونطلع كل جهدنا حتى نظهر بشكل مميز، وهذا حدث رياضي كبير. أي رياضي بتمنى يتأهل له، وهذا الشيء بيعود علينا إنه إحنا مفتخرين إنه تأهلنا وكنا أول رباع فلسطيني تأهل لأولمبياد طوكيو. التدريب بالمجمل العام عملية معقدة، وكون اللاعب أخي سهل علي مهمة التدريب. كون اللاعب يعشق رياضة رفع الأثقال، وهذا كان أحد التميز لمحمد.
محمد حقق لنا حلم زي ما حكيت لك، طال انتظاره طويل، والحمد لله اليوم أنا مرتاح جدا. أديت الرسالة، فخور في محمد، فخور في حسام على هذا الإنجاز، إنه إحنا وصلنا طوكيو.
Good luck to you at the Olympics, Mohammed. Now, Chris Paul says that all is well with him after 2 frustrating games for the Phoenix Suns in the NBA Finals. He scored just 10 points in Game 4 as well as committing 5 turnovers. Although the 11-time All-Star did match 21 points in the Suns' Game 5 defeat to the Milwaukee Bucks. Devin Booker also had a simple message for his team: just be better. Game 6 is in Milwaukee on Tuesday evening.
Throughout this entire playoff run, this is our first elimination game. You know what I mean? So it's for real. You know what I mean? It's no looking back now. We got to come out, be ready to play, and, you know, it's either win or go home.
How do you think?
Yeah, I think everybody's just been talking about embracing it. You know, coaches said all season long, everything you want is on the other side of hard, and it doesn't get any harder than this. So we know that this is a must-win game for us, and nothing more than that. Now we got to hoop.
What he's trying to get to us. It keeps the energy right. You know, there's no second guessing what coach says. You know, he has the best interests, and you know he's right. You know, so we listen to him. He's somebody that we've leaned on through this whole season for our locker room, for how we perform on the court, for what he just mentioned, how we, you know, get together as a group very, very often. So we have a tight-knit group. Yeah, I think with the team and the capabilities of the shooters that we have on this team, that, you know, we need to generate more threes. Obviously, they're switching a lot and staying home on shooters. So, you know, there's just a way of figuring it out, you know, putting pressure, causing gravity to open up opportunities, easier opportunities for everybody on this team, because, you know, we have a lot of really good shooters on this team.
Sayo, we've seen a very lousy Phoenix Suns in the last few weeks. First of all, they got a 1-0 win over Milwaukee Bucks. Then a 2-0 win over Milwaukee Bucks, and we thought they were home and dry. Milwaukee Bucks came back, then it was 2-1. It's now 2-2. And I don't know. They lost. It was their game to win or lose, and they are almost losing it now. And they are saying we have to be better against Milwaukee Bucks tonight for midnight Nigerian time. And of course, don't forget, they have a problem here. They are traveling to Milwaukee Bucks. They're not playing at home.
Absolutely. You see, that is what you get when you do not take your chances when they come. You are in the lead, and suddenly you lost the lead. I mean, I think it's last call from concentration, and that's why the players have rallied around the coach now. They know what is at stake. The final is what is at stake. The trophy itself. There is no second guessing this time. They have to go all out and win. A defeat will hand the trophy over now to the. It's really dicey now. It's really dicey. I am not really confident about the Phoenix Suns any longer. I am not confident about them. I hope they can just bring out surprises. It's coming to the final now. It's been a long time. They've been fighting for this, and go to the final. They faced so many difficult teams, and getting to the final, you just don't want to throw it away just like that. You have to fight for it, earn it, and I think at the end they should be able to deserve it.
Well, I don't know. My opinion now is that all things being equal, everybody, pundits, basketball sports pundits are saying that, listen, if the Phoenix Suns allowed Milwaukee Bucks to come back from that 2-0 down, then they should forget it. It's Bucks all the way now.
Absolutely, because the team on the momentum now, the team with the high spirit now is the Milwaukee Bucks. Like in football, when you come back from behind, you are on top of the game, and it is your game to lose. So having it at the back of our mind now, I think the Phoenix Suns might just if they win it, actually, if they make it in, then they are the ones doing the impossible, because they allowed Milwaukee to come back from behind now and taking the game to them. So it's difficult. Like I said, it's going to be another interesting final to watch. Very interesting indeed.
Hopefully, Phoenix Suns can hold their own tonight or early midnight Nigerian time, but they are at home.
Hopefully.
But Milwaukee Bucks are at home, so I don't know. Kagiso Rabada
Added pressure.
hit 4 straight boundaries in an impressive final over to bolster South Africa's Super 167-7 as they beat Ireland in their first ever 2020 meeting by 33 runs. Rabada notched 17 in final over to finish unbeaten on 19 off just 9 balls and stake his claim for a higher spot in the South African order. The contest was all but done at 46-5 in the 8th over as Ireland dragged out proceedings by playing out its quarter of overs to finish on 132-9.
Nicely struck into the gap. And that's a welcome boundary for South Africa.
Well, it's one thing with Kagiso Rabada. When it's been up, it's gone in the ODI series. Really, that was a gift. But he steered it excellently over extra cover there. Rabada, these are valuable runs for South Africa.
Yeah, nicely timed. I like the fact that he opened his face on contact, realising that there's a big gap over extra cover. Smart batting. Back. That's back-to-back boundaries for South Africa.
Well, again, looking at what we saw in the ODIs, that's not the area to bowl to Kagiso Rabada. There really is going, and that's a very good shot, actually. Timed to perfection. Beats Harry Tector wide mid-wicket there.
Yeah, it's interesting tactics by Ado, who's bowled really good cutters leading up to the last over, and he's decided to bowl Yorkers by the look to it, but they're not really being executed well. That's 3 boundaries in a row.
Well, that's fabulous batting from Kagiso Rabada, and these are real valuable runs for South Africa. Have a look at this. Extra cover, beautiful shot there, great shape through mid-wicket, and this even better away. So look at that.
Yes, a lovely straight drive to finish. Kagiso Rabada will be eyeing up his 4th, I believe. And it's 4 out of 4. This is a really, really good over for South Africa.
Again here, Ireland. Be hoping they don't rue this. 4 out of 4. Again, out of the back of the hand, and it's beaten. It's probably to the shortest part of the ground. And in all honesty, Rabada would have been...
South Africa gradually getting their acts together. They went back to the drawing board, rebuilt, and they're beginning out a better team, much better team from the past few years I've seen them. Sayo, thank you very much for joining us on the show this morning.
Always a pleasure. It is mine.
But before I go on the show today, let me make a joke out of something. A few protesters yesterday in Japan protested, and they are a group that are actually for human rights for animals. And their protest was based on the fact that they are warning people in Japan, please don't eat eggs while you are here. Don't eat eggs, because the eggs actually grow up to become chickens. So they are fighting for the rights of chickens now, that don't eat eggs when you are here. That's the height of it, really. That made my day. Okay. Thank you very much, Sayo. You probably didn't get that, but it's really very funny when you ask yourself, sometimes when these human rights guys come out and actually protest, and you're asking yourself, is there any sense in this, really? You are telling people coming to Japan not to eat eggs there because you are protecting the rights of chickens, and those eggs grow up to become chickens. Wow. I'll leave you with that one. Plus Sports and Plus TV Africa join us same time, same station tomorrow. My name is Wally Scott. Like I always advise you at the end of every show, if not for anything, at least for your heart, do some sports.